Hi, Jason. I hope you're well. I was just wondering if you had signed those divorce papers yet. I wouldn't ask. It's just that my lawyers were waiting to finalize everything up.
Oh, hi Fleur. Yeah, sure. I haven't signed them yet, but I can get them done into you by the end of the day, if that's okay.
Yeah, that should be fine. So, how have you been?
Yeah, I've been okay. Just working as usual. How about you? How's the new job treating you?
Oh, yeah, it's going good. I've settled in nicely, made a few friends. I'm actually going out with a couple of the girls from work this weekend to try and get to know the city a bit better.
Oh, that's good. Hopefully you'll have a bit of fun then.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully it'll be okay. Have you been up to much?
Oh yeah, I've just been getting stuck into work really. It's been really busy lately. I've hardly got any chance to actually go home. I feel like I'm living at the office more than not.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
I just mean that when we were together, you were at the office a lot. You hardly had any time to spend with me. That is kind of why we split up.
Well, I guess, but I wasn't the only one who caused us to break up. It took two people to split this relationship up.
What are you on about? I didn't do anything.
Oh, please, you were constantly nagging me and telling me to do everything under the sun that you could think of in the house. You also moaned at me about how much I was working, and I know that it was a lot, but it was the only way to afford the house we were living in and the lifestyle we were living as well.
Yeah, well, I guess you're sort of right. But I mean, you were the one who was mainly at work or something. Although, I guess my new job opportunity didn't help things.
Yeah, that had you out of the house a lot more once you had decided that you were going to take it. I'm happy for you, but it was the final nail in the coffin for us.
Do you really think that was what did it?
Well, I don't think it helped any.
Well, I guess not.
But as long as you're enjoying yourself, that's okay. Some couples just aren't meant to last.
Yeah, I guess.
Though it probably didn't help that you started seeing that guy at your work.
Excuse you? I didn't start seeing anyone whilst we were together. Where on earth has this come from? Since when did you start accusing me of cheating on you?
Oh please, you can drop the act now. I know that you started seeing him near the end of our relationship. It was incredibly obvious. All that time you were spending at the office. Did you really think that you had me fooled? It wasn't a very good lie.
I wasn't lying. I was at the office and I was working. I would never cheat on you. Or anyone I was with for that matter. I'm definitely not that kind of person.
Then why were you spending so much time with him? Every other word out of your mouth at the time was how you and, what was his name again? George?
His name was Joe.
Ah, that's right, Joe. All you could talk about was how you and Joe had so much work to do and how you both needed to pull loads of overtime to get your work done on time. If there was ever a more blatant lie or poor cover-up, then that was it. No one spends that much time with someone, even if it's for work, if they don't like the person that they're with.
Well, of course I liked him. Joe was my friend. We worked together for quite a few years as we both started at the same time. We helped each other through a lot of difficult times, both in our jobs and in our personal lives. In fact, I knew Joe before I'd even met you. Surely if I had wanted to be with him, I wouldn't have dated and married you, right?
Well, not necessarily. He might not have been available at the time when we met, and then when he became single, that's when you decided to start your relationship with him. Regardless of if you were already married at the time or not.
You really think that I would do something like that? You really think that I am that horrible? That I would just simply abandon you and betray you in such a horrible manner? Well, I guess it's good to know what you really think of me then.
Well, you are the one who's trying to take me for everything I have in this divorce. I don't think a nice person would do something like that, do you? Leave the person they've been married to for the last 5 years with absolutely nothing, not even a penny to his name.
I am not taking you for everything that you have. I personally don't want that much from you. Just a little bit of money to cover the cost of the house. Considering you're the one who is staying in it despite us buying it together, that's all I'm asking for. A buyout from the house.
You do realize that in this market, our house is upwards of $300,000, right? For me to pay you your half, I'm gonna have to sell the place anyway and move somewhere cheaper. I don't have $150,000 just lying around, you know? Effectively, you're kicking me out of my home, so thank you for that.
Jason, I'm sorry if that's what happens, but I put money into that place as well. How is it fair for you to keep the house and I get nothing, despite me putting a load of money into it as well? And not just in the initial buying of it, but the bills and the interior decorating of it. Most of those furnishings and things that actually make the house look nice were bought by me. And yet, I'm not asking for those back. The most I want is the money that I am legally owed. It's not cheap moving to an entirely new state, you know. Plus, living in a city is twice as expensive as in a town. Like where we are. I need financial aid so that I can actually live in the place where my job is. I don't think that's something that's unreasonable to ask.
Well, I think it is, especially when it forces your husband out onto the streets.
You won't end up on the streets. Even if you do have to sell the house, which isn't a necessity as you can remortgage it, you will still get $150,000, so you can either buy a new place or rent somewhere. And if you want to look around for a little bit, I know your mom will let you stay with her until you're ready to move somewhere else. So don't try and guilt trip me into not getting what I deserve when I have worked incredibly hard to get it in the first place.
Whatever, I don't care anymore. I'll find a new place to live and I won't let you know where it is. I want nothing to do with you after this divorce is over and done for. I'll get the signed papers to you as soon as possible, then we can finally be rid of one another.
Sounds good to me.
Fine. Now, if you don't mind, I've got to get back to work. We can't all just do nothing all day and call it work, so I can't waste any more time listening to you whine.
Oh, please. The one whining about anything right now is you.
You believe in that if you want to, but we both know the truth here.
Yeah, I think we do.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Fleur? It's been a little while.
Angela? Hi. Yeah, it has been a while. I don't think we've spoken since me and Jason first told everyone that we were getting a divorce. How come you're messaging me? Not that I mind you messaging me. I still think you're a lovely person, and what me and Jason are going through seriously has no impact on how I think of you and what I feel about you as a person. I'm kind of rambling. Are you okay? Is there a specific reason you messaged, or did you just want to talk?
No, there was a reason. Jason was in a car accident,
Huh?
and he is critically injured.
Hang on. What? How is that possible? I was literally just talking to him this afternoon. How on earth has this happened?
Apparently, he was on his way home from work after staying a little later at the office to finish off some work. He was just driving his normal route home when someone ran a red light whilst he was crossing it and smacked right into the driver's side of his car. It was a really bad wreck. Firemen were called, and they had to cut him out of his car. He was then airlifted to the nearest hospital, where he's been in intensive care all night. He's recently stabilized, or so the doctors say, which is why I thought I'd let you know. I'd have messaged you earlier, but I didn't want to say anything when I didn't know myself what was happening for certain. It was touch and go there for a while with him, and I was fearing the worst.
Oh, Angela, that's okay. I just wish I could have been there to give you a bit of comfort and to make sure you were okay. Or, well, as okay as you can be in this kind of situation.
Thanks.
So he's stable now? What did the doctors say? How bad are his injuries?
Well, they haven't told us everything, but they did say that
What? What is it?
he's going to be paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of his life.
What?
Yeah, he got pinned or something in the car and it damaged his spine. He's not going to be able to walk again.
Oh, that's awful. I don't know what to say. I just can't believe this has happened to him. He was perfectly fine this afternoon. I mean, we even got into an argument. Oh no. I don't want my last words to him to be an argument. I've got to come and see him.
But aren't you in a completely different state now? It'll take you ages to make it back.
It doesn't matter. I'll get the next flight out back home. I've just got to come and see him. I can't just leave him on his own, especially not at a time like this.
Well, okay then. But the doctors aren't actually letting people in to visit him yet, so you don't need to rush about too much. He's only just come out of intensive care, so they'll be monitoring him for a while yet, and I doubt anyone will be able to get in to see him until at least tomorrow.
Well, just keep me posted. I'll let you know once I've managed to get a flight and I'm on my way, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Fleur.
No, thank you, Angela, for letting me know what's happened. I know it's not easy, what with me and Jason and the divorce, and you probably think the worst of me, but I can't tell you how thankful I am to you that you let me know what's happened.
Well, I'll see you soon.
Of course. And if anything changes in the meantime, just let me know. I'll have my phone on me at all times. And if you're able to see him before I get there, and if he's awake, just let Jason know that I'm on my way.
Okay. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, Fleur, how's the flight?
Ugh, they've delayed the flight for 2 hours. So I was supposed to fly at 23:30, but now I've got to wait until 1:30. And that's if they don't decide to cancel the stupid thing. I swear, I might just drive to the hospital. It'd probably be quicker than waiting for this stupid flight.
Well, it's okay. You'll get here when you get here. We don't want another accident to happen by you rushing too much.
You're right. I'm just frustrated and worried. How is he doing?
Actually, he's woken up. He's asked me to send you some messages on his behalf.
He's awake? That's great. How is he feeling?
He's a little groggy, but that's to be expected from all of the pain medication. He's been asking after you, though.
You just tell him that I'll be there soon. that I'm trying my hardest to get to him and that he doesn't need to worry, as I'll be there within the next few hours.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Also, tell him that I'm sorry about the argument earlier today. I didn't want to get into a fight with him, and it all just got a little heated. I'll also apologize in person when I get to the hospital, but I just wanted him to know I was sorry.
He says that he's sorry as well. He said some things that were totally out of line and that he doesn't believe in at all.
It's okay. We both said things we didn't mean, like how I want him out of my life. I don't want to lose him. I love him.
He says that he loves you too.
God, tell him that I've missed him these last few months, that I absolutely hate my new job and the city that I'm living in. I just want to be back with him. That's all I want.
Jason says that's all he wants as well. He's missed you too.
Okay then, we'll sort it out. But for now, tell him to just rest. I'll be there soon and I won't ever leave him again.
Never?
Not unless he wants me to. I'm afraid he's going to be stuck with me.
He says he likes the sound of that.
And he doesn't need to worry about anything. We'll figure everything out in time. Paralyzed or not, I love him and I'm going to be with him. I've already started doing research into how to live with paralysis and all the different physio activities that he can do to maintain a healthy lifestyle. I've also looked into different ways for him to get about, like an electric mobility chair. That way he will still have his independence. It costs a little bit of money, but it's nothing that we can't figure out together. Anything to make his life easier for him. Also, I've already started looking for quotes on how much it'll take to make the house suitable for him. A downstairs bathroom and stuff like that.
Fleur says to relax. You'll work it all out together when you get here. Also, isn't your flight soon? Make sure you don't miss it.
Don't worry, I'm already at the gate. I will literally be the first one on that plane when it gets here. I can't wait to see Jason.
He says he can't wait to see you either. I've got to go now though. The nurse just told me that visiting hours are over, so I've got to leave.
Okay, well, tell Jason I love him and that I'll see him at the next visitor's time. Okay?
Okay. And Fleur?
Yes, Angela?
Thank you. We've all missed you.
I've missed all of you as well. I'll see you soon. I promise.
See you soon.
I rushed over to Jason as soon as I could. Once I was in the hospital, I promised not to leave his side at all. Even when visiting hours were over, I would stay and sleep in the chair beside his bed. Sadly, the doctors were right in their prognosis that Jason would be paralyzed below the waist for the rest of his life. However, I did not let it stop me. The accident made me realize just how much I actually love Jason, and I couldn't fathom a life without him. Whilst we might still have our difficulties, we have begun to see a therapist together, and we are slowly but surely working out the kinks in our relationship so that we can be together happily. I have also taken up helping Jason adjust to his new life in a wheelchair. It's been difficult going, as it is a completely new way of life for him, but we are slowly making progress. We have also both quit our jobs and are looking at starting our own business together. That way, we are actually able to spend more time together than apart. It's going to be a long journey, but there is no one else in this world that I would rather take this journey with than Jason. I realize that the best things in life are worth fighting for, and whilst it's easy to leave and split from someone, if you want a proper relationship in life, you need to work through the tough times together. And that's how you build trust and loyalty in one another and take your relationship to the next level.
Grace, can I have a moment?
Yes, mother-in-law. I'm on a break from work, so it's all good. What can I do for you?
Well, Betty is divorcing and moving back here, and her boyfriend, Carl Anderson, will come with her.
What? Betty got divorced? And she has a boyfriend, huh?
Yes, dear. It seems her husband discovered she was cheating. Poor thing.
Oh.
But she's serious about Anderson, so they're coming back together with marriage in mind.
So, Anderson is Betty's adulterous lover, right? Isn't the reason she got divorced?
Well, that's part of it. We don't know what happens in our lives.
No, I think it's pretty standard for a married person not to cheat.
A mother always supports her daughter's love life, even if it involves infidelity.
But...
All right, enough with the nitpicking. I can hardly get to the main point with you.
Wait, there was more?
Actually, Anderson, he's unemployed at the moment.
What? Betty was a housewife before her divorce, wasn't she? So they're both jobless.
That seems to be the case. So I've decided they'll be living with us from tomorrow.
What?
Since you work at a major company and have a high income, you'll pay the bill for their living expenses.
Excuse me?
I told you. Since Betty and her boyfriend, Anderson, aren't working, you'll be responsible for their living expenses.
What? Why me? I can't agree for that. And I can't live with them.
I'm not asking for your opinion. I've decided as the head of this household, so just go along with it.
Excuse me? The head of the household?
You're Ethan's wife, so you have a duty to support our family.
I believe I'm already doing more than enough to support everyone. If I have to shoulder any more, we'll be in serious financial trouble.
But Betty is my daughter, and Anderson might become my son-in-law in the future.
I don't mind if they get married, but I think it's wrong for me to shoulder their living expenses and have them living with us.
Do you want to divorce Ethan? He's my son, whom I raised. I'm sure he'll agree with me.
Ethan isn't like that. I'll talk to him tonight.
Well, it's a waste of time to discuss it now. It's already decided that Betty and Anderson will move here from tomorrow.
Ethan, we have a big problem while you're away on your business trip.
Grace, what's wrong? Did something happen?
Your mother told me this afternoon. Betty got divorced due to an affair, and it seems she's coming back here with her lover, a guy named Carl Anderson. And it looks like they plan to move in with us from tomorrow.
What, seriously?
Yes, I'm serious. Furthermore, your mother told me I have to pay the bill for their living expenses.
What? That's ridiculous.
Right? I refused, but she wouldn't listen.
Wait, she got divorced because she cheated? I had no idea my sister did such a thing, which is no common sense.
I was also shocked when I first heard about it on group chat this afternoon.
Mom has always been overly loved Betty. It's seen as wrong by society. If it's Betty, it can't be helped, or Betty is special, so it's okay. It's really troubling for us who should be advising her because we can't have a reasonable conversation.
Ethan, you've had a hard time, haven't you?
Well, yeah, my divorced father used to sigh every time something happened.
I see.
By the way, is his name Carl Anderson correct?
What?
I feel I've heard this name somewhere.
Well, assuming your mother didn't make a mistake, I guess so.
Okay, it's bothering me, so I'll look into it. It may not be someone directly related to me, but it could be a friend of a friend or something.
I see. Please let me know if you find anything.
Okay. Then I'll reach out to my friends and see if they know anything.
Okay, thanks. Mother-in-law. Hey, where are you right now?
You're so noisy. I'm out having dinner with my friends right now. What's up?
About Betty and her boyfriend, Anderson, was it?
They arrived in the afternoon. Have you met them yet?
Met them. They're, for some reason, canoodling in my room. And their luggage is taking up my entire room. And all of my stuff. It's all tossed out in the yard. What's going on?
I gave your room to them. That's why all your stuff is out in the yard.
Isn't that way out of line?
It's your fault for refusing to pay for their living expenses.
What?
If you won't agree to cover their expenses, you're the one who'll have to leave.
I have no intention of agreeing for that no matter what you say. I don't agree to Betty and her boyfriend living with us, and I certainly won't pay for their living expenses.
Then I'll put your belongings in the yard. They'll get wet if it rains. Speaking of which, wasn't rain forecast for tonight?
Why are you acting so superior? Aren't you forgetting your position in this house?
I think you're the one forgetting your position, Grace. As the daughter-in-law, you don't have the right to oppose us, the family into which you married.
Rights, huh?
Well, if you declare you'll pay for Betty and her boyfriend's living expenses, you're welcome to live in the garden shed. For you, who have no parents or siblings, no place to go back to, it's better than being thrown out of this house. Make your choice: either listen to what I say or leave my house.
Ethan, are you on your way back now?
Yeah, I'm in the bullet train. How are you going? If everything went as planned, Betty and Anderson would be at my parents' house from yesterday, right?
Yes. And they've taken over my room.
Wait, they took over your room?
When I came home from work, all of my stuff was spectacularly tossed out into the yard. When I complained to my mother-in-law, she said she would let me keep my stuff in the garden shed if I agreed to pay Betty's living expenses. If you reject, I should leave.
What? I want to ask my mother whether she's crazy. I'm really sorry for such a troublesome mother.
It's not your fault, Ethan.
Speaking of which, where were you last night? You surely didn't spend the night in the shed, did you?
No, I stayed at a business hotel as expected. I rented a pickup truck and stored the stuff that was tossed out into the yard in a rented storage unit.
I see, you got it.
I'm sorry I didn't contact you sooner. I was so tired from moving the stuff that I just fell asleep.
No problem. By the way, where's the hotel you stayed in?
About a 6-minute walk from Station A.
Can we meet at the south exit of Station A? I found out who Carl Anderson really is and I want to report it to you.
Really?
After I get off the bullet train, I have to go back to work, but after I give my business trip report, I can leave for the day. I'm thinking of meeting up about 2 hours later.
Got it. Can I wait downstairs at the south exit of Station A?
Downstairs, got it.
See you later.
Yeah, see you in 2 hours.
Ethan, thank you for the report earlier.
Sure, Grace.
I have to say, I was surprised. Carl Anderson, he's really a dangerous man.
Yeah, no kidding. When I remembered from a friend's story, I was surprised.
Anyway, I'll be at the business hotel again tonight.
Sure, I'll join you as soon as I'm ready.
Grace, have you finally made up your mind?
About what?
Stop sulking in a shed and swear to quickly start paying Betty's living expenses.
No matter how many times I'm told, I don't agree to pay for their living expenses, and I have no intention of doing so.
You have to listen to me. I'm your mother-in-law. If you don't accept quickly, I'll make you divorce Ethan.
Mom.
Oh, Ethan, good timing. Can you please also persuade Grace to be responsible for Betty and Anderson's living expenses?
We've already left the house.
What?
You've noticed Grace's belongings have been moved out, haven't you? I also moved all of my stuff out of my room overnight, and now I'm with Grace.
What? Where did you go?
I can't tell you that. We've decided to cut ties.
Cut ties. Why would you do such a thing?
Because you've been tormenting Grace ever since she married into the family. Grace is my precious wife. There's no way I can just let that slide.
I wasn't tormenting her. Grace was just being rebellious against our family, and she wasn't accepting Betty and Anderson. I was just trying to make her understand her position and convince her.
Mom, do you know the true character of Carl Anderson?
What do you mean by true character? He's just Betty's boyfriend, right?
Wrong. Anderson is a man who stole my friend's wife.
What?
He's also been involved with several other married women, and after being sued for over $100,000 in damages, he's now in debt.
In debt?
I found this out when I looked him up because his name rang a bell. It's highly likely that Betty knows Anderson is this kind of man and is still dating him. The reason she brought Anderson into our house could be to help him hide from debt collectors.
No way. Betty wouldn't do such a thing.
And aren't you worried about your savings being targeted?
What?
Shouldn't you check just in case? Mom, you've told Betty about the money you received from Dad as part of your estate settlement and are keeping it at home in cash, right?
Yes. I was thinking of it as my retirement fund. Having it at hand, I could actually see the money growing, and it motivated me.
What if Anderson heard about it from Betty?
Huh.
Is your retirement fund all right?
Retirement fund. My hidden savings. Surely not. Grace, help me.
What's going on?
The $30,000 I was saving in my drawer for my retirement is gone.
What?
When I asked Betty and Anderson about it, they said we used it as a housewarming celebration.
That's terrible.
Grace, help me.
Isn't it strange for you to ask me for help? Perhaps it would be more worthwhile for you to urgently look for a job.
But Grace, I am your mother-in-law. You should feel indebted to me for living together with you.
This has been bothering me for a while. Living together, indebted, what are you talking about?
Well, because you don't have any parents or siblings, so I'm living with you as a substitute mother and letting you take care of me.
Indeed, I lost my parents and I was an only child, so I have no siblings. I'm working hard to make a living, and I could easily find a place to go home if I rent a place. And the place to go home I rented turned out to be the house I was kicked out of.
What? You mean you're the renter, Grace?
Yes. Didn't we talk about this? Ethan moved into the single-family house I've been renting since I was single after we got married, and was it 2 months later? You lost your home due to the divorce from your old husband and suddenly showed up one day with movers, and you've been squatting ever since.
No way.
Let me continue the story. If I, the renter, move out, it means canceling the lease for that house.
What?
So, the end of this month is the moving out day. Please tell Betty and Anderson to start preparing to leave immediately.
I can't do that. Where are we supposed to go? Even the $30,000 for my retirement was used up. And I didn't know Anderson was such a terrible man. Grace.
It's too late. Goodbye.
Grace.
First, it is about Carl Anderson. After revealing his deeds to the Ethan's friend, whom he had stolen his wife, notifications were quickly spread to all involved parties. The next day, he, and strangely enough, Betty too, were taken somewhere in a black van. As the debt payments seem to be paying on schedule every month, it looks like things have turned out all right on that front. On the other hand, my mother-in-law. She has lost both her home and her breadwinner, and she finally acknowledged her dire situation. To secure her basic needs, she managed to find live-in employment. However, seemingly she acts out by bossing around her colleagues who are younger than her and doing other inappropriate behaviors, so she's begun a countdown to being fired, yet she appears to have no clue about it.